Call me Mr. Holland because this is my goddamn magnum opus, you see? You think I could jerk myself off before? Well, watch me break my fucking wrist, okay? Today we are making a Brahmin owl caterpillar, and this is where I peak, okay? I think my YouTube career is like a mountain range. It'll have hills and valleys and peaks multiple, and this is gonna be one of them. This might even be one of my highest peaks if you ask me. This Brahmin owl caterpillar, when she's around, you better whisper when you talk to me, because this shit goes crazy. You think I told you? Remember when I told you that I was gonna go hard for spooky season? Well, this is me going hard for spooky season. Okay, so let's start this shit off. I made my tinfoil base, same as usual. Sorry for the headphone users for that one. I'm getting a little bit too excited. But I started the tinfoil base, and this caterpillar had lots of tiny segments and lots of body modifications in general, which you will see. The prickly spiny things, I promise you, took me like 3 days complete, but I got there. I got there eventually. And these coils that I did, actually, I messed them up a couple times. As you can see, I forgot to leave room, and I don't know what I did there, but I fucked it up. I didn't like it, and I wanted this bug to be perfect. So I took it apart, put it back together, and see, now I'm wearing myself out. But I was actually looking this up, and there's like no information on this boy. But I'll come back to that in a minute. Right now, what I'm doing is just, finishing up the form and whatever. And I'm going to make the face soon. Shout out to my editor for that sick Halloween transition, by the way. Shout out to Fiverr for letting me find my editor. But no, that's not sponsored. They could sponsor me if they want to. But anyways, now I'm just making the face. And as I said, I couldn't find any pictures of the thing. Really, there's only like one real reference photo for it. And so I just looked up anatomy of a caterpillar and just made the face based off that. And I'll do the same thing when it comes to painting the face. I just use the reference for anatomy of a caterpillar. And now I'm making its grabby little hands. Grabby little hands. But as I was saying, if you look up this caterpillar, like no information comes up, right? But my thing is, if you look up the hickory horn devil, you get information up the fucking wazoo about it, which is unfair if you ask me, because I'm not going to go as far as saying they're the same thing, but they're pretty, like, they're in the same club. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely in the same club. And God, look at those legs. They're just so grabby, it's so silly. But anyways, the hickory horn devil is objectively a cuter bug, right? Like, it's like bright green and it's more jelly looking. It's a cute little thing, nothing against it, obviously. But like, there's information about it up the fucking wazoo and none about this one. That's unfair. That's unfair. And people are always like, oh, this is like one of the biggest caterpillars in the world. So is this one. So is the Brahmin owl caterpillar. And I'm not trying to compare two bad bitches or nothing, but like, there should be more information about this one too. So entomologists, get on that. Thank you. Please. Don't want that to come off too rude or anything. But back to what I was doing. I was trying my hardest to find a way to get the wires to stick. I tried making the hot glue base and it was not working. And then I somehow managed to get it to work. So let's appreciate I had a bit of a stroke of genius, okay? If you look up this caterpillar, it has little spikes, right? It has little protruding things coming out of it, and those protruding things have spikes. And boom! You see that? I used the hot glue and then I stuck it with my little pointy tool and so that it would make little stringies, and then I cut them and plucked them. And it took me forever, but it worked. And I actually got better at it. As the time went along. So not to tickle my own clit or nothing, but if anyone else does this, I hope they credit me, you know, because it was a good idea. I was really racking my head trying to figure out how to do this, and I did it. So you can do anything really if you stick to it. And here we are back to trying my very fucking hardest to get these to stick. And a lot of them ended up falling off after the thing was done, and I just crazy glued it. I actually crazy glue it at some point in this video too, and then a bunch of them still fell off, like more of them fell off. Okay, so what I'm doing now for the longer appendages, they're kind of bent a certain way, and I didn't have any wire plier things to do it. So when I went to my mom's kitchen, I found she had chopsticks, and I used them to sort of bend the wires the exact way that I want it to, which is such a mess. It got the job done, and I did end up using the chopsticks for all 5 long appendages on this bug. But as you can see, it's a bit of a struggle. I wouldn't say this is one of my tried and true methods, but it got the job done. So I'm not gonna complain, but we got there eventually. And fun thing about these spikes, the 5 spikes I did over the course of like 3 days. Like, I know I'm always saying, you know, it may look tedious, but it wasn't really that tedious because I had fun doing it, or I watched something while I did it. No, this was just straight up tedious. This part, just straight up tedious. Like, look at this. Look at all of this, you know? I had to pluck it. I had to glue it, pluck it, hope it doesn't get fucked up in any way. And then I had to cut it, hope that it doesn't get caught on anything else. Then I had to take my little tweezers and pluck the little bits that got stuck in the other little bits. And I had to do that multiple times over the course of 5 different long appendages. You know, I'm going to look up actually, I did look it up, and I can't even find what they're called. So I'm just going to keep calling them the appendages, the extra long appendages, and hope for the best. But if you do this at home, more power to you. As if there is one bug that I would just be happy to watch and not do at home if I was a viewer of my own channel, it would be this one. Back to what I was saying. I don't know shit about this bug, and it's getting to me, you know? Like, it's so interesting, it's so cool, and the only thing I found out about it really is that its primary diet is lilacs, which, like, cute. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that, though? Be fucking for real. So, entomologists, do me a solid and please just put out some more information on this thing. Thank you. I'd really appreciate it. Whoever puts out information, DM me your address and I'll send you flowers. And that's on me. That's on the house. So obviously I would take the appendages out before I do all these, you know, add the little sticky bits. And then I would just super glue them back in, or hot glue them back in. So that's what that is. And now we are finally onto the paint job, which is where it starts to really come together. Because damn, that was a lot of fucking body modifications. But honestly, I think it looks really sick in all black, you know? The final form, the final evolution of this is awesome, obviously, and I prefer it over the straight black. But the straight black look is really a look. So, man, look at my magnum opus. Look at those stubby little legs. Oh, I love stubby little legs. I love freaky fucking bugs, and I love stubby little legs. And here is a mistake, actually. Here's the first L I will take of the video. Do not pour out all of the paints that you're going to need. Just pour them out as you use them, because I started this paint job at like 1 a.m. like I usually do. And then by the time I was finished with all the orange, I was ready to hit the fucking hay. And so the black and the pink and the red all dried up. So that's wasted product. Just keep that in mind for anything you do, really. And that orange took 3 coats, by the way. And I don't know if you noticed, but the top parts are a bit of a mosaic, whereas when you get more towards the back of the body, it is just like a hole when it comes to the design on each segment. And then for the eye part, I couldn't, because I'm using like the exactly one reference photo, I couldn't really see how it looks front facing, so I had to just wing it. I just guess it, and that's what I guess. So you see, here's where it starts to kind of fall apart, which is no big deal. Just take some super glue, stick it back on. It's not that serious. I couldn't really see the top part of the bug. As I said, one reference photo. I couldn't really see it, so I only got like a little glimpse, and I just winged it. So wang it, maybe. So I just decided to go with a question mark, add some mystery, because the thing on top was kind of like that. So, you know, that's what I decided to do. And now we're finally on to making the little faces. One of the things that attracted me about this bug was that it had these cool little faces. They kind of look like masked people, or they look like ghosts, or they look like people wearing sunglasses. Really, it's just up for interpretation. I think that's really cool. And the dots really add it together. God, bugs are so cool. So there are the eyes, which caterpillars usually have like, sometimes they can have 5, sometimes they have 6. This time I went with 8. And what I'm doing with the legs is I'm giving it little wrinkles, because on the reference photo, the stubby little legs have like kind of little wrinkles. I don't know. Now I am making the mouth, because I forgot to do that in the clay part of the video. So I just decided to make it out of hot glue. I made 4 little spiky bits to emulate the teeth that caterpillars have, which if you look up a close-up video of a caterpillar eating, I very highly recommend, because they are so freaky and their jaws kind of shoot out like that shark. I'll input the name of that shark, of what it's called, because that shark is pretty fucking sick, and that's how caterpillars eat too. So I highly recommend looking that up. Now I am making a stand, because I didn't want this to be facing the ground as it was. You see, look, it's like facing the ground. Its head is on the ground, like it hates the world, like it hates itself. I don't want it to be like that. So I made it a little stand, so that way it could stand up in its glory, almost like it was exactly in the reference photo. So that's what I was trying to do there. And it took some trial and error. But I mean, it's not that hard. It's just bendable wire. You can figure it out. And lastly, to glaze. We have reached the glazing portion of the video, which means we are basically finished with the magnum opus. I hope all of your wrists are intact, because I know mine isn't. But anyways, thank you for watching. The next bug is super fucking gross. And that one will drop on Halloween Day. I hope you guys really like it. Thank you for watching. I hope you had as much fun as I do. Look at all that hot glue, and see you for the next one.